everybody! So today is the next in our series of Disney Canon reviews, and we are looking at the 15th Disney animated classic, and it is Lady and the Tramp. And there is perhaps no film that better personifies Walt Disney in a movie as Lady and the Tramp. It came out in 1955, which was the same year as the opening of Disneyland, and you can really see that Main Street USA feel of Disneyland that you get in Lady and the Tramp. It doesn't have any of that sort of mysticism of the Mary Blair type of artwork. This is very Norman Rockwell, very American, homespun, comforting, everything you think of from the 50s, and sort of turn of the century, sort of a feel rather than 1950s, but there's something about it, it feels like it's very 1950s. It feels very nostalgic as far as what Walt would have been nostalgic for. Say that it is sort of lightweight, that it is, you know, just a little story about dogs, but for what the kind of movie that it's trying to be, which is just sort of this wholesome, sweet, Norman Rockwell family kind of story, it does execute it extremely well. The animation is beautiful, and we get some very, very, very likable, fun characters. Of course, we're introduced to Lady at the very beginning. She's given to the Darlings, and this whole story was based on a experience that the Disney animator Joe Grant had with when he first had a baby. Him and his wife had a baby, that their dog was kind of jealous, and it went through where the dog was the number one priority to all of a sudden this baby, and kind of those experiences. He told that to Walt. Walt always liked it as a story, and then he combined it with another book that combined the Tramp element of Joe's story. The book is called Happy Dan the Whistling Dog. And I guess that's the Tramp, is Happy Dan. Lady is this beloved dog, and she has her two friends, Jock and Trusty, who live across the street. And this is a very idyllic kind of setting, very, like I said, Norman Rockwell. And then all of a sudden things start to change a little bit, and turns out that Darling is pregnant, going to have a baby. And so the Tramp comes in and hears this conversation and warns Lady that things are going to really start changing. But it's not too bad until they leave the baby with their Aunt Sarah, who's voiced by Verna Felton, who's one of my favorite of the old school Disney voice actors. She doesn't really like Lady, she doesn't really like dogs, and she has two cats. The cats don't like Lady either. And so everybody's kind of out to get Lady, and she ends up putting a muzzle around Lady. Lady ends up escaping, and she ends up meeting the Tramp, and of course the two get to know each other and have their famous Italian dinner and fall in love. And he ends up in the pound, and she hears some not nice things about the Tramp, told from a dog named Peg, who is kind of a jazz singer, and Peggy Lee, a jazz composer, did all of the songs. He's a Tramp, which I think is a really solid little jazz song.
He's a tramp, he's a scoundrel, he's a rounder, he's a cad, he's a tramp, but I love him. Yes, even I have got it pretty bad. You can never tell when he'll show up. He gives you plenty of trouble.
And just the whole visuals of the dogs at the pound is really effective. And so she ends up coming home, and Aunt Sarah puts her in the back of the house, in the dog house with a chain, and it turns out a rat that gets in the house, and she becomes really worried. Like, the implication is this rat is going to really hurt the baby, and so she barks and warns the Tramp, who's feeling kind of rejected by Lady, that there's this rat, and the tramp goes in, and he, has to chase down the rat, and they end up toppling over the baby, and Aunt Sarah freaks out. Tramp and Lady are taken away, and Jock and Trusty race after the dog catcher's vehicle, and they are able to keep a distraction, that are able to get things free, and Lady's able to go and tell Darlings who come home about the rat, and then Jock ends up hurting himself in the chase with the dog catcher, but it turns at the end that he has just injured his foot, and so he's okay, and we see at the end that Lady and the Tramp are happy together, and they have a bunch of little ones, and along with the baby, and we get another Christmas scene at the end, so that's really fun. So yeah, that's kind of the story. It's pretty simple, but it's just so lovingly told. The animation is so wonderful. It has great songs. It has great characters. I really like Jock and Trusty. I think they're some of the best sidekicks in all of Disney. I think that the vocal performances are all right on. They're exactly what you expect, what you want. The only major flaw I have with this film is I think that the Siamese cats are strange characters, because we get introduced to them. Put aside the ethnic stereotyping, which we'll talk about, but put aside that. We get introduced to them. They have Disney's first villain song, like actually sung by the villains.
Siamese, if you please. We are Siamese, if you don't please.
And then they're gone. They are not. The rat is the main villain. You think it would be the cats, but it's not. They sing their song, and they literally have about 2 more minutes of screen time after that. And that's it, which is really weird. Like, I don't understand why those villain characters weren't used more effectively in the film. And I think there is definitely some ethnic stereotyping going on. You had that a lot in the 50s with Disney. It's just, it was just a different era. But overall, I think it's a charming film. I think it's really sweet. I think it's good for little kids. I think that all ages kids will really enjoy it. I think boys, girls will like it. It just has a timeless quality, I think, about it. And it's one of the few Disney films that has Christmas involved as we go to watch. If you want something a little bit different during the holiday season, put on Lady and the Tramp, and I think you'll enjoy it. I wish it was out of the stupid vault. So let me know what you think of Lady and the Tramp. Do you like it? And put it in the comment section. And I give Lady and the Tramp an A. I think it is really well done for what it is. So yeah, thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.